Okay, evening, Thursday, the 5th of August. Our poor friends in Melbourne have been locked down again. Like, my heart goes out to them. Stay strong, everyone. You've done it before. Not that that's any consolation, but we'll give my mate Benji a run tonight, and he can sort of cheer anyone up. There's going to be some good stories tonight. I've worked with Benji for years. I've known him for a long time. We've travelled together. We've done a lot of cool stuff together. So tonight we'll run one. So let's welcome him in. Hey everyone. Hey Sash. Hey MJ. Benji.
Hello.
Nice. How you doing, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
How's mate, that? I see you had your hair and makeup done.
I did.
Yeah, nice. How's your day been, buddy?
Pretty good, mate. Keeping busy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What have you been getting up to?
Today I did a bit of gardening, mate, and just tidied up around home here a bit. You know,
nice.
Went through a few paintings and just shit, really. You know.
Yeah, cool. Nice. So you were saying before when we chatted on the phone, cheers, chin chin.
Yeah.
That you were chatting to Juddy Stewart today.
Yes, mate. Just briefly by message, I saw that he put a post up saying that he was shut down, and I just sent him a quick message saying, feeling for you, and the poor buggers down there again,
Yeah, they're definitely
number 6 for him, is it?
Mate, undisputed world champs.
Yeah, wow, far out. Here I am. What am I, buddy? 5 days in or something like that, and I'm already starting to go bloody stir crazy myself,
Yeah. But hey, didn't you and Tim experience a lockdown in the Northern Territory?
We did.
Yeah. How was that?
Interesting for a couple of days.
Because what were you doing? You're walking into like a 4-wheel drive show or something.
Yeah, we went to a bloody 4-wheel drive expo, and we just got there, and we were going to watch the first exhibition that was there. We just finished a beer, and next minute to come over the speaker saying Darwin's going into lockdown at whatever time it was, 12 o'clock or something like that stupid, 1 o'clock, and we'd only just got there, so everything just went into chaos, and we just bailed and went to the bottle basically.
Mate, was there a big lineup?
There was a massive lineup. It went pretty much around the bottle shop. Luckily, I reached into the fridge and got some piss out of it and turned around and bumped into a guy that I knew that Paul used to tattoo. He's like, hey, what's going on?
Oh, amazing.
Jumped in the line, 5 from the till.
Nice.
It was great.
Mate, the wonders of tattooing.
Hey, it got lucky that day, that's for sure.
Yeah, cool. All right, mate, let's go way back. Let's go. Okay. What was your first ever tattoo?
That I got or I did?
No, that you got.
Oh, the first tattoo that I ever got was probably like a real tattoo or just a shit tattoo?
Like go both.
Okay,
like
so the first tattoo that I ever got would have been when I was about 12 or 13. An older kid that I used to knock around with had a tattoo gun, that shitty thing, and I did 3 dots on my hand that I had to hide that from my parents for years. It was always like, what's that? I always used to draw on it at school because I just had these 3 dots,
Wow.
So that was the first actual tattoo that I ever, in kid's skin type thing. But the first tattoo that I ever got was probably, I'd already been tattooing for a year or so. I was 24 and I did a Cherry Creek, I think they were Zodiac, on my ankle myself.
So what? So you were tattooing before you had tattoos?
I didn't have any tattoos when I first started tattooing.
Wow. Well, that blows my next question out of the water. Tell us about that. How did you start tattooing then?
Well, I come from country South Australia.
Yep. Mount Gambier?
Mount Gambier, mate. Yeah.
Yep.
But there wasn't any tattoo shops around there apart from, going to Adelaide or Melbourne.
Right.
Which, wasn't something that we did a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And to be honest, I never really was interested in the whole let's go and get a tattoo. I was more interested in sitting at home smoking weed and drawing and thinking about tattooing my mates and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just thought it was a sucker's game, really. You know, getting them. So. So yeah, you know, I never really had the desire to get any, and I was pretty fussy, like we all are, I think, when we all first start getting tattoos. Yep. And like one day there, I was just, you know, I was pretty brutal, as people still say that I am. And Tojo, who I worked for at the time, was like, "You need to get some fucking tattoos." So I tattooed myself one day and basically dug a hole in my ankle and couldn't walk properly for a few days. I thought, fuck this. But yeah, that was the first one, mate. So
crazy.
You know, I covered it up. I had an old like Chicano cross type thing on my ankle that I hand poked when I was a kid. You know.
So tell us about that shop, True Blue, and were you tattooing before you started there?
I had tattooed like backyard shit.
Yeah, like homemade rigs and that sort of stuff.
Homemade rigs for years. You know, like pretty much from the time I was sort of 19, 20, you know. I was, you know, I had a couple of pieces of shit that I'd got from a dude in jail, basically. And, you know, I used to, you know, if we got pissed up or something like that and someone wanted something, I'd pull it out. You know?
Bust it out.
But yeah, you know, like up until then, you know, I was just doing that, and then I was working away, and when I got back to Mount Gambier, a tattoo shop had opened up in Mount Gambier. It was like the Jokers, the Gypsy Jokers. And you know, a few of my friends, I always used to draw tattoos for my friends, and they'd go in there and be like, "Hey man, fucking get this," and you know, they were like, "Oh, these are cool. Who's drawing these?" And they were actually all just like tribal and shit like that anyway, you know, back then.
Money makers.
But they were like, who's drawing these? These are good. And I always used to say to my mates, don't fucking tell them, you know, who's done that, you know, who's doing it, you know. And the clubhouse used to be at the back of the tattoo shop.
Wow.
Yeah. And they used to have an open night there on a Friday night. And a mate of mine used to go there and drink on the Friday night. And he got talking to the dude that owned the shop, Tojo, and was like, my mate does tattoos. And I always used to say to him, don't you fucking say anything, you know? Anyway, he kept saying, bring him down. We want to meet him. And I'm just like,
we want to patch him up.
Yeah, they don't want to meet me. They want to fucking break my hands, you know? So anyway, after months and months, I said, all right, I'll come with you, you know? And we went down there one Friday night and had a few drinks and shit like that. Met Tojo, who was the cliche bikie, just a big fat fucker, you know, ponytail and shit beard. And anyway, he's like, oh, you like tattooing and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, yeah, you know, I worked in a fucking timber mill at the time, you know? And he said to Hamish, my mate, go out into the shop and pick a tattoo and he'll do it for you. I'm just like, oh, okay. I put us on the spot, straight on the spot, you know. So yeah, went out. Hamish went out and picked a tiny little piece of tribal, and I did it on his forearm. I had bloody Toge and half a dozen other bikies fucking standing over me laughing and carrying on. But yeah, that's how I got started there, you know.
Mate, and then what? Let me guess, you started Monday.
He pretty much said, you know, we went out the back, had a few more drinks. He sent one of the guys off to get me a bottle of Ouzo because I drink Ouzo, you know. And I said, how'd I go? And he goes, well, it was fucking shit. But, you know, come back if you want to come back and do it for a living and stuff like that. And I sort of was like, I got a job, man. I just had a baby and shit like that. And he's just like, oh, well, you sort yourself out and it's here if you want it. So I went home to my, at the time, girlfriend and my daughter's mother. Whose father was a detective. Which worked out great. And she's like, how did it go? And I said, fucking awesome. I loved it, you know? And she just said, what are you going to do? And I said, well, what do you think I should do? And she said, just do it. And I said,
nice.
Went to work the next day and sort of gave notice, did the notice thing properly. And, you know, and I started tattooing and making no money and doing fuck all for ages. It's like, yeah, great life choice with a new
yeah. But what, Tojo was obviously tattooing, I imagine?
Tojo tattooed. The hiccups and names. Tojo was there, and there was another guy, Bags.
Yep.
So Toad still tattooed. He was mixed up with Four Roses in Adelaide as well.
Yep.
So he was sort of back and forth, from Ink Wizards as well, which was owned by Bear, a guy called Bear at the time.
Yep.
Another Joker. Which Ink Wizards is still around.
Yeah, cool.
But not obviously Mikey owned anymore.
Yeah. Hey, describe us. It had some amazing signage, True Blue, didn't it?
It did. I actually pulled the photo out to show you.
Mate, bring it. Let's see. This is classic, everyone. A bit closer, mate. Amazing.
It's Ned Kelly at the top there.
Yep.
She's pretty bogan.
Mate, who did all that paintwork? Do you know?
Bags did all that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. He was pretty good with painting.
Hey,
and stuff
Pucker.
like that. Real fantasy shit,
Well, that was the go back then. It was.
Yeah.
It was
his stuff was very much sort of like Fran's, I guess. Like Fran Dragon Lady. As you know, back in the day, sort of the states had their clicky styles type thing going on. I think. Adelaide was pretty behind the time. I don't know. Coming from where I came from, mate, I didn't know a lot. You know what I mean? So you know my story. So
What sort of machines and stuff were you using back then?
To start with, I had Brett Stewart's.
Nice.
To start with, I had nothing myself. So when I first started, Toj was the awesome, just great at saying, "Come here, I'll show you this once, and then leave." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just basically picked up two machines and went boom, boom. The red one's for shading, the gold one's for fucking outline. Catch you later.
The money maker. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know what they were, but they were like fucking cannons because I'd never used shit like that before.
Yeah.
So, but after a little while, Brett Stewart was still doing one of the only I think that was doing the rounds. I remember he used to roll in and he had a briefcase the size of a fucking table, and you
That's
could hear
right.
it, he'd open it up and it'd just be like, get fucked,
Yeah. Christmas had just come.
Skulls, purple, with skulls and all this sort of shit, And Toj, he rocked up one day and Toj just said, get whatever you want.
Nice.
I'll pay for it, you pay me,
Yeah,
so I bought these two purple Brett Stewart's with the three skulls up the fucking stand and, all the shit, the skull on the fucking contact.
Oh, mate, killing it.
Yeah. I was instantly, Didn't know how to tune the fucking things at all, but...
No, you didn't need to back then, just turn it up.
That's all I was doing.
Yeah, crazy. So when you were there, were you going to Adelaide or were you coming in contact with other tattooers?
Not really, mate. I'd worked there for... The first tattooist that I ever came in contact with was a bloke called Goma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was friends with Toj, and he just happened to be in Mount Gambier one day, and Toj, I knew who he was through magazines and that back in the day. So he was kind of pretty much, one of the wizards in Adelaide at the time, And I remember he came to the shop there one day and he was sort of like, hey, so you like tickling a bit of skin, do you? And I was like,
yeah. Amazing.
Had a bit of a chat with him, which, he remembered me a couple of times. I went to Adelaide, dropped in. Hey, mate. He had a guy working for him called Shep.
Yep.
I don't remember Shep back in the day. He was doing
killing
really cool trad sort of stuff early on, which was cool. I think he's still around.
Yeah. Yep.
But didn't really. I was still very green until I moved away from there, mate. Even when we used to go to Adelaide and Melbourne and I'd go to tattoo shops and that, I was always still a little bit shy to say, hey, I'm Benji from I'm a tattooist, because I thought that's just shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, were you getting any more tattoos at that stage as well?
I sort of. I didn't, as you know, I didn't go too hard too early.
Yep.
The first real tattoo that I got respect. Written across my guts. This one Thursday, I'm just like, let's do it. I was writing to Pantera and shit like that at the time, and fuck it.
Mate, amazing. So, how long were you tattooing at True Blue for? Because then after then you moved to the Gold Coast, and that's when I met you.
Yes. So the first started at was sort of in the industrial end of town in Mount Gambier there, and then after about 2 and a bit years in that shop there, they moved into the main corner of Mount Gambier and opened a tattoo shop there, which was my first real experience of like a tattoo street shop type thing,
Right, yep.
And I worked in that for, I think I was in Mount Gambier tattooing for like 6 years or something like that, I'd sort of felt like that I had, I don't like to say it, pretty ordinary teachers,
Yeah, it's just the facts, mate. That's the way it is.
The real hardcore apprenticeship. I had keys to the shop in 3 months and shit like that. But yeah, we moved down there, and then after a little while, the shop changed hands, and I got offered it with me and another guy. Wig Teddy. Yeah, he used to work at Marty's Fine Line years ago in Port Adelaide.
Yep, and that's you and Wig came up to the Goldie together.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So we got offered to take the shop over by Tojo, and it was going to happen. And I was actually sitting in the pub one afternoon, and one of the other guys came in and said, "Oh, here, you're taking the shop over." And I was like, "Yeah, can't wait, fucking blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "It's not going to happen. It's staying in the club, and,
right.
That's, you work for us." And I'm just like,
right.
And that was sort of my turning point. Was
fuck
this. This is what I was afraid of. Like, we all sort of were back in the day, I knew I was treading on, thin ice.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning with them guys, but it was either do it now or don't do it at all, or
totally.
Get fucked up,
and that's like, when the opportunity came back then, not many opportunities came along. So
fuck, mate. Coming from where I come from, that was it.
Yeah,
it was never going to happen again. And I'd be just as scratching shit, probably still, But that was my one and only opportunity, and I knew that at the time, I heard you saying, I think it was even last night, about opportunity arising and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was definitely something that I knew. It just came at a really weird time for me because I just had a baby and stuff like that. It was like great. Like I said, my father-in-law was a detective, that hated bikies, and I was just like, fuck, what am I going to do,
Would have been some great family dinners.
He was a cop a detective in Darwin, so a few trips that we had to Darwin, it was always like, right, come with me, and he'd take me for a drive, and always give me like, I hope you had enough sense not to bring any drugs with you or something like that. And I'm just like, fuck, what do you think I am, a fucking dealer?
Oh, amazing. So then you and because I met you, how long have you been on the Gold Coast now?
Moved to the Gold Coast in 2004.
Yeah, and that's when I met you. I think I was working with Paul at Tattoo Works, and you and we came up.
That's right.
And so tell us about all that. Like, you drove up there, and then...
well, I remember, like I was saying, things sort of went a bit sour at the shop there when, they changed hands, and they were sort of like, you work for us, and, I was like, fuck this, and I remember Wig said, we're going to get out of here, Wig was nuts, had like a couple of teeth and was like angry.
A wild man.
Oh, yeah. He come from a smaller town than me and was, Anyway, he come into work there one day with a magazine, and he goes, pointed at the back of, how the ads used to be in the back of the magazines, and he goes, do you like fucking mangoes? And I was like, I don't think I've ever had one. He goes, well, fucking Paul Braniff is fucking looking for workers in Queensland, mate.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow. I said, I can't go work there. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, his missus knew how to use the computer, so she emailed. Must have been Robin at the time. You know, I don't know how the correspondence started, but yeah, got talking with them, and then it basically, Paul basically ended up saying to us, "Look, I'm not going to hire anybody that's mixed up with that shit." And we ended up sort of saying to him, "We've left." And, we had a bit of a run in there one afternoon at the shop there. Bang, within 2 days, we had the car loaded. Me and Wig drove to fucking the Gold Coast. Pretty much like, "Hey, Paul, we're in fucking..."
Yep.
And, went and had a meeting with him, and he was like, "Sorry, guys, but I haven't got any space for you,
Yep.
We were both sort of devastated. I said, "Fuck it, let's go back to Adelaide. We'll open a shop in Adelaide." And, we stopped at Coolangatta, had a few beers. Wig was like a chronic pothead, so he was just on the bongs hard, you know. And, next minute the phone rang, and it was Paul, and he said, "Listen, mate, we've just had a family meeting. We might be able to rotate you through the night shift, in Tattoo Works." And I said to Wig, "Let's fucking go, mate. We'll go back to farm." We ended up living in this shitty caravan park in Labrador for a while. And, sort of went from there, mate. Like I said, like you said, that's where we met. And,
amazing. So then because Paul, they had Skin Effects, Tattoo Works, not Frontline. What was the one where Luke used to work? The purple one.
Oh, Crossfire.
Crossfire and Southport. And there were like Skin Effects had the 2 shifts. I think Crossfire had 2 shifts, and there was a bit of scuffling around. I think Damo Girding had just had a motorbike accident. Probably coming into summer. So and I think that's when he might have been apprenticing Nick's.
He was, yeah,
because remember we used to have like apprentice night sort of thing, and we'd sit down at Tattoo Works. Paul would like be tattooing someone, he'd explain machines, like so methodical, and he was so generous with his time.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Well, like even that. I think that's how I sort of got my foot in the door as well. Was even when I sent my, back then portfolio, which was shit, like shit copies and a bit of writing, like the child wrote it, and I basically said, if you were to hire me. I haven't really done a proper apprenticeship, and I'm willing to start at the bottom. Which I think I like to think that I proved myself when I got there as well, because I used to fucking I'd go and sit down the shop with him. I'd work there. Oh, well, I didn't even. He worked the day shift with Nick's, in Tattoo Works, and they would work there. I'd go in like hours early and sit there and just listen and talk and shit like that. They'd leave. I'd sit there all night, and some nights do nothing. It was in that little alleyway, And then, when I finally, got to do day shifts and stuff like that in the shop there, and Paul moved back to Skin Effects, I'd work there all day, and then I'd go up to Skin Effects as soon as I'd knocked off and sit up there, and some nights until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, talking and listening and learning, So, that's where for me, that's where I started to learn tattoo, I saw Nick's getting, apprenticed and was like, fuck, wow, this dude's learned more this week than I know already, you know what I mean? It was definitely an eye-opener. I walked straight into Crossfire and saw Brian Brady tattooing a fucking a wizard on this dude's back, and I just saw him go, and do a line that was about that big, and I was like, fucking hell, I've never done that. Sitting there doing a massive 2 peonies on a girl's thigh, just colouring them, and they were bright pink, and I was like, fucking hell, I can't do this shit.
Mate, I know you would have been the same. Like I was, when I was working there and when I was working at Skin Effects, I was so proud. Like, man, I work at this shop. Like it had been like a dream of mine throughout, my life, and to work there. And that was, definitely one of the best shops in the country at that time.
Same. It's the highlight of my tattoo career to now, 20 odd years. I remember even when I lived in Mount Gambier, and I was a fan of tattooing before I tattooed, and I had a pin board at home, and I had all cutouts of like Paul Braniff's tattoos and stuff like that. You know, it was one of them things again that just happened. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and like even my mates used to go, "Fuck, who's done all these? They're amazing." And I'd be like, "Oh, this dude Paul Braniff in fucking Queensland," you know?
Yeah.
I remember when I, you know, not long after I'd started here, my mate that I tattooed that took me to the bikies tattoo the clubhouse that first time. He came up here with his family, and remember Howl of the Moon used to be across the road.
Yep.
And we were sitting over there, and we were having some dinner, and he put his glass up and went like this, and I'm like, cheers. And he goes, remember when we used to look at that pin board and used to say, I'm going to work for that guy one day?
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah. He goes, congratulations. And I was just like, awesome, you know?
Yeah, it was great. But also, like, what, you know, a great environment to be around, like, and just the volume of tattoos we would do, like, non-stop, man. Like, you know, booked out non-stop through summer, like day shift, night shift, whatever. Like, always have the best flash on the wall. You know, always up to date with new inks, new machines, needles. But yeah, just the volume as well, and being in that environment really ramped up the skill level really quick.
Yeah, well, like I say, you know, like straight away, I was just like, holy fuck, you know, like I'm gonna pull something out of my ass here. You know, I was used to doing little tattoos and fucking little armbands and stuff like that. I had people coming in and going, "Can I get this dragon?" and shit like that. You know, I'd never even used a mag. I'd never even used a mag. You know. You know, I remember Paul saying, "What size mags do you use?" And I was just like, "Oh, you know, like made up a story."
That one.
How do you spread them? Oh, you know, I just spread them.
Oh man, it was an amazing time. So we've just had a flurry. You know, we've got Sandy in the Tattoo Territory crew saying hi. Ronnie Isherwood, Breno is the man in Australia. Yeah, you know that as well. Yeah, we all do. He's the man, and So you were there all together for what? Roughly how long?
I think it was about 9 years.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's a good stint.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, look, I loved it there. But you know, as like anything, I guess you get to a point where you need a little bit more something else. You know, I remember even when I went to Paul, and you know, you know how it goes. I plucked up the courage for like a week to go, how am I going to tell this cunt? And you know, I went in, and I used to go in and have chats with him quite a lot, mate, on our own and stuff like that, you know. And I went in and I was like nervous. I got something to tell you. And he goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, I think I'm going to leave." And I'd only just before that, I'd just gone and done my first guest spot. I went down to Front Yard with Byron in Adelaide, in Mount Barker. I just got back, and when I got back, it's kind of like I lost my spot. And he said, "Oh, you know, we've got a spot for you over at Gold Coast in Southport." And I went, "Oh, okay."
The salt mines.
I see how it is, you know. So I did that for a while and quite enjoyed it, you know. It was good for a change. And then, I had to approach him and said, you know, I'd had a bit of a cheeky chat with Ebbles down at Borderline. And, you know, and went down there basically, you know, like left. He goes, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, to Tim's." And he's just like, "Oh, well, good." You know, it's kind of
he's still in the family
type thing. So
but he was difficult to talk to, anything like that. It was like when I had to let him know that I was going to move down to Sydney, I was like, "Fuck, how do I do that? How do I do this?"
But I remember for like maybe about 2 years after that, every time he'd come to the Gold Coast, he'd be like, "I'm coming up. How's Paul?" You know? And you'd come in, and you'd have a chat with us, and Paul would be next door in 22, and you'd sneak in and go, "How you going, Paul?" And you'd come back, and he'd be like, "Still not talking to you?" "Nah, still not talking to me." He finally caved, though, didn't he?
Yeah. But it's hard, man. Like, it was obviously a family business, but it was a tight-knit family.
Oh, mate. But, you know, like, I remember when I first started, and, you know, remember the first Christmas party we had it at my house. I'd only been there a year or something like that.
Is that when, were you choking me out? Who was choking me out?
Gary was choking me
that's
out.
Right. And I'd pass out in the garden bed or something.
Yeah. And I remember Paul like this there that night going, you want to have a go? And I'm like, no way.
Oh, yeah, so many good times, mate. So many good times.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
rest his soul. So all right, let's move on to Borderline and all the story there, like working with the nut job. Who's on tomorrow night?
Yeah. So left Skin Effects, went down. Look, to be honest, I was getting sick of just doing so many tattoos and stuff that it just wore thin. It was starting to wear thin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I was getting sick of people, and I turned into that cliche. What do you want? Where do you want it? And I went down there looking to try and maybe change up a little bit. What do you write? Nut job is listening. But yeah. Anyway, I went down there, and I sort of, because I was fast and could tattoo most styles reasonably quick and reasonably well, I sort of got pigeonholed into that as well. Borderline was pumping. Skin Effects and Borderline were fucking absolutely pumping shots on the Gold Coast here. You know.
Yep.
And,
let me just interrupt for a minute, mate. Were you starting to develop a style then, or branch out to find out, towards where you are now?
That was my plan. Like I never really had a style. And as you're aware, and anyone that comes from our gen is aware that. For years, it's just like, I want this one, I want that one. It was all pick off the wall stuff, Every now and again, someone would be like, oh, can you colour it green? It'd be like, fuck yeah, you change it in a flash. But, as it was, we all used to paint or, not so much paint, we all used to draw or we're all copying and stuff like that. It took me a long time, took me my whole career to get to the style, that I
the good stuff
have now, you know what I mean? Like, I struggled with it for years, and I'm still, I still am. I think I still will forever, but
So with that Borderline, did you start getting the opportunity to do more stuff for you then, and like a bit of a slower pace?
No, not really. I got a little bit, I got a little bit, I guess, and it probably could have worked better for me if I wasn't in a shit spot. I was in a, going through some shit myself back then, which didn't help the cause, and it was, it just didn't turn out to be the best environment, and I was just shit, to be honest. And I'm totally
where did you, after that, to break that cycle, where did you then move on to?
I went to, it was called Storm the Gates back then.
That's right,
Nate Green in
Varsity Lakes?
Varsity Lakes, that's it.
Yep.
I went out there with a few other boys, a couple of other boys that had, worked through Skin Effects and stuff like that as well. Nate was, it was always sort of in the family type thing.
For sure. So, but that was the Gold Coast back then anyway, before it's, the explosion of what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was, 6 degrees of separation sort of thing.
Yeah. So I went out there, and that was when I first started to try and push a bit more custom. Well, it was a custom shop.
Yes. Yep. Correct.
It was a custom shop. So, and I'd never experienced that before anyway. And this, I'm talking maybe nearly sort of 15 years into my career.
Yeah.
And, it was a bit of an eye-opener, to be honest with you, because I didn't have the luxury of going onto the computer and going, oh, fuck, I've got 6 Chinese symbols to do today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Like, you've got to...
I had to start to hustle and produce, produce drawings or advertise, which I'm still not great at, you know what I mean? Like, I still struggle with, how to come across on social media and how to, to put it out there without going, fucking get this, you dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's and you know what? That can be any career, like anyone that's you're essentially running your own business then, just under the roof of something else.
That's right.
And it is hard to
Yeah,
to find.
it was definitely an eye opener for me, you know. Like, and I was like, "Fuck, what have I done?" You know, I had, you know, I had the cream, you know.
Yeah, but you know, that's all part of it. It is daunting, it is scary, but you know, and that's the difference. Where if you could have gone back to any of those shops, I'm sure, and still been there today, but you wouldn't be who you are now if it wasn't for doing all of that.
I knew that it was the right thing to do.
Yep.
It sucked at the start, and you know there was definitely hard times, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, like it's what I needed to do for one, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, at the end of the day, it sort of worked, you know.
Yeah, good.
I still feel like I'm a hustler, but you know, it's just part of the job. You know what I mean?
For sure, but I think that's as well, mate. Like, you know, you can talk to anyone just through life experience, and you know, sitting in that chair in a street shop for 15 years, the whole world goes past you. And you know, you
definitely.
get to talk to
does, mate.
you know, anyone from a junkie to a judge. You know, you talk to them all.
Exactly. Yeah, and it really did. It really did fly by. You know, like it's 10, nearly 10 years at Skin Effects was fucking it just really did fly by, mate. You know.
Yeah, it does. So after Storm the Gates, where did you go to then?
After I left
were you
Storm the
starting?
Gates,
sorry to interrupt, mate. Were you starting to do some more guest spots then, or was
like,
Canberra on the horizon then?
No. Like then, when I left there, I was still battling, you know, some demons.
Yep.
And I just found the workplace to be not good for me.
Yep.
And I just thought I was really at a loose end. I didn't know what to do because I felt like I'd sort of extinguished anywhere that I really wanted to go. Who were my friends? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So one day I was just working away, and I just thought, fuck this. This is I don't need to be here. Yep. And at the end of I finished my tattoo. Thanks, mate. Wrapped him up. Fucking sent him out the door, and I went to Nate. Hey, Nate, can I have a chat? And he's like, yeah, mate. What's up? And I said, I'm going to finish up in a couple of days.
Yep.
He goes, fuck, what's up? And I said, listen, nothing, mate, nothing at all.
Yeah.
I said, it's just me.
Yep.
It's time for me to go. You know, he goes, what are you going to do? And I had like maybe 3 months worth of bookings, you know.
Yep.
And I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do.
Yep.
I just left.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's when I and that was over 5 years ago now.
Yep.
And since then, I've just been independent, you know.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, because I know you've been on the road pretty relentlessly for what seems years now.
Yeah.
You know, so where was your first, say, guest spot? You know that started after then.
I remember
because I know you were going up with Dave Williams up in Brisbane a bit.
Yeah. That was like later though. You know, like I didn't really know Dave even then, you know. I met Dave through him buying some artwork and stuff like that through me, and you know, and I think the first time we really met was at one of the conventions.
Yeah, I think me, you, and Dave, we shared a booth together.
We did, exactly. You know, and sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
I think when you first met Dave. Oh, but no, the question was, where was some of your
first guest spot? Right. So when I left, the day that I left Storm the Gates, I came home and I put a thing on Facebook. Yeah. I don't think I was really heavy into the Instagram and that back then. You know, this is only, like I said, 5 years ago. And I said, as of such and such, I will no longer be working here. Yep. I want to go and do some guest spots, blah, blah, blah. And I just fucking had all these messages come in from people that I knew and had met, and some I hadn't met. Yep. As you know, mate, you're friends with everybody online now. You know, so many people that we're friends with that we don't know, you know. Yep. And the first one was Nifty in Emerald. Right. Yes. And he was like, bro, fucking come to Emerald, you know. And I'm just like, I don't even know where the fuck that is, you know. So I went there for a week and stayed with him and his wife, you know. They were great, you know, did tattoos in his shop, you know, and that, for me, that was huge because it was, I stepped out of my comfort zone and out of my box, you know, like even for me to go and stay with some people that I'd never known or anything like that before was massive, you know, as a fucking 40-year-old person.
Yep.
When you're 20, you don't give a shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You know, when you get a bit older, you know, like even when I go places now, I want fucking towel warmers and, you know, like, you know, shit like that, you know.
Mate, you deserve it.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, that was the first place, mate. And then I also had Benno from Canberra.
Yep.
Hitting me up, come to Canberra. And I'm thinking, fuck, you know, like, never been to Canberra, you know. Half these places, I come from Mount Gambier, mate. Even when I come to the Gold Coast, I come to the Gold Coast, and I've never been here before.
Yep.
And me and Wig pulled into bloody Coolangatta, and hey, mate, pulled this guy over. Where's Surfers Paradise? You know? He goes, fucking K's down that way, mate.
Yep.
We just come from Nimbin, you know.
Yeah, loaded up. Oh, amazing. But, mate, how cool was it, Nimbin, back then? Like, as soon as you park your car, you couldn't take more than 3 steps and they were on you.
Oh, mate, when we pulled up there, we had all these people jump out trying to sell us weed and shit like that. Wig's like, give us a look. You know, and ended up, this like 15-year-old kid come over and he had this bag and he's like, that Wig's bought 2 ounces off this kid. And I'm just like, you just bought fucking weed off a kid, you know?
Well, mate, yeah, amazing. So you did. So then, like, you've been to Canberra quite a lot still to this day.
Yeah, Canberra's been great, mate. Like Benno hooked me up there, like right from the start. You know, he basically said, mate, how long do you want to come for? You know, I'll come for 2 weeks, right? Bang, got there, booked out 2 weeks. You know, I think I did maybe 2 or 3 trips to Canberra with Benno booking my stuff. You know, like with everything was what I wanted to do.
The shop sort of thing.
Yeah, you know, everything was, he had it on, it was good. It was great. After like the 3rd time, mate, I was booking myself, you know, and I could go there for 3 weeks, bang, you know, just, you know, out of anywhere, not that I'd really been anywhere, but that going to Canberra, everybody's there seemed to really like what I was doing. I don't know you know, the instant availability, because there isn't a lot of shops in Canberra. The instant availability and getting a half decent fucking tattoo, you know, straight away and not having to wait months or whatever, you know, or go to Sydney. So,
totally.
Canberra's still, you know, now I still go to Canberra regularly, you know, and get messages all the time. When are you coming back? When are you coming back? You know.
Well, here we go. Tim Harris has just said, "Thank God you came to Canberra, mate. Lucky enough to be covered in Benji's artwork."
Timbo's been a great customer. Good cunt too. Good dude.
Yeah, amazing. So, because I think then you would come to Sydney again, like on your way through.
Well, you know,
were you going down to Wagga as well?
Yeah, for sure. You know, like always loved Dan, and you know when Braid owned the place, I dropped in there when he owned it and stayed with him. Me and Tom went there ages ago.
Yeah, wow.
You know, well, that was after leaving. You know, your first shop. You know,
yes, correct. Bondi Junction.
Yeah, they just popped up in my memories just the last couple of days of that first visit. You know.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'll send us a picture of it.
I'll send you some pics. I will.
Yeah, awesome. Here we go. MJ's gone. Benji was the first tattooer other than my mentor to get tattooed by me way back when I was an apprentice. I was a nervous wreck.
I know. I remember walking in there. I remember going there. Well, I can't remember whether I'd just come from yours or going, going to Canberra. I think I might have. I went out of my way to go there and see him anyway. Anyway, he's sitting there doing nothing. And I said, "Aren't you busy?" And he's like, "No." And I said, "Do you want to do a tattoo on me?" And he's like, "Oh, fuck, you know what?" You know, and I wanted a ship with my the name of the ship that my grandparents come to Australia on.
Right.
So I put him on the spot. I basically give him 2 shit spots to pick from, and and we got it on. Yeah.
Amazing. And then, like, where else have you been? I know you were working up in Coolum. We still work with Dave. You've been to Darwin quite regularly.
Cairns.
Coffs Harbour.
Cairns, Coffs. Yeah.
Yeah, you did a few stints up with Dwayne.
Yeah, I haven't been,
and like all of that travel, and you being like independent from a shop on a Goldie, I think it'd be fair to say is when you really flourished as an artist, and you were
for sure. The best thing I ever did was like drop my defenses basically and put myself out of my comfort zone. and go into a shop, and I've never, you know me well, mate. You know that I'm not the type of guy that's like, fuck, look at me, I'm here. Or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I can walk into a shop, whether it be full of wizards like the ones at your shop, and get along with anybody in it. You know
mate,
what I mean?
everyone at the shop loves you.
That's
and
great,
you just slide straight in, like, and again, like, chat to anyone and everyone, all the other, even like, some of the more higher artists or whatever, like, they always gravitate towards you. You've got something special in your nature.
Yep, the whole travel thing, it worked wonders for me. It made me a lot more confident, with tattooing, and in myself. And like just getting out and about is, I wish I had done it fucking years ago, mate. I respect, you even from the first moment that I met you, and I was like, fuck, this guy's travel the world, Me the time of day going, here, try these fucking needles.
Fucking oath.
Or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and mate, for me too, it's the best thing I've done. And I think, one of the key things is at any age, you're going to get positivity by putting yourself out of your comfort zone and sticking through it. It's going to be tough and it's going to suck and you're going to be full of doubt, but there's good stuff coming.
Look, I do that, my rounds that I do with my shops, the shops that I go to, like Darwin, Cairns, Coffs, Brizzy with Dave, Canberra, yours, and in the meantime, I've got half a dozen other oons going, like Al Mitchell and stuff like that. Stop here, or Pucker and stuff like that. I'm just like, there's not enough time in a year.
Totally. Because your schedule would be blocked out.
Well, I mark my calendar out in 4-month blocks. So like I sit down here and I fucking try to work out 4-month blocks. And by the time I'm, I'll wait until I'm sort of down to my last month, and then I start planning my next quarter, basically,
Because sometimes you'd only be home for a week.
Well, at the moment, hey.
Yeah, sometimes you'd only be home for a week.
Sometimes I drop my bags, fucking, do my washing, restock my tattoo trolley or whatever, my bags or whatever, and off I go again.
But so one thing that's sort of interesting that we've spoken about, like, obviously now, you did go to Darwin. I think you have been to Canberra recently as well, but you're tattooing on the Gold Coast now is because you were out and about for so long, people maybe forgot where you were or whatever. But
definitely, mate.
Booked again.
I didn't have a base at home here for a couple of years. When I first started traveling, I like I said, I felt like there was nowhere that I fitted in or really wanted to go, to be honest with you. I'm not into ego and I'm cool and crap like that. I just wanted to be around cool, casual people, and I'm getting old, and I'm getting a bit cranky now, so
mate, but that's one of the beauties about getting older, is you just become more comfortable with yourself, and you know yourself.
And your tolerance gets less and less, you know what I mean?
Like, and mate, we've both suffered so many fucking dickheads over the years. It's it's like, why am I wasting my time on you? There's not enough time left in the world to listen to shit.
So look, I did, mate. I sort of fell off the radar a bit, like a lot of people were like, hey, when are you going to come back to the Gold Coast? And it's like, well, I never went anywhere, And then, I was sort of with COVID, obviously, and once we sort of started back, I started going in between, like, Tim's down at Borderline, which is my old, and I love it down there. I love the guys there. Love Tim. And, I'd go out to Raoul and Dan's out at Currumbin, out at the right hand.
Is it Raoul doing your back?
Raoul's doing my back at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing. He's getting his back done by Connor Wern. So it's
nice.
It's like we're racing,
Yeah, wow. Awesome. Hey, just on a different note as well, because you were doing conventions a lot as well, like come to Sydney, and you're also doing a lot of the judging, you and Neil. I think Jeff Rhodes, I think Tim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was mad.
Hey, tell us that funny story about when you judged the Polynesian one and you got some grief. Or not. We'll move on to the next one. But also, but also, man, like, I think, how many years ago was it when we went to Nepal?
That was 2017, I think.
Yeah, fuck, that's 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that was pretty mad, that convention, hey?
That was definitely an eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
Seeing dudes with dreadlocks, down to the ground, and some dude fucking, doing a painting, probably high on DMT or fucking something like that. Just some dude with a black ear, just the weird, just weird shit,
And our fucking 15-year-old tour guide.
Yeah.
But it was wild. But that was another one, like, never been there before. You and Tim flew over, and my mate Dave come over as well. And you and Tim were stuck on the plane in India.
Yeah, 12 hours on the tarmac until Tim got it. In the end, there we pretty much drank everything or ate everything off the plane, and they were walking around with like cut up warm oranges or something like that. Tim's like, "We don't fucking want that. We're getting off." And went to get off the plane, and some dudes come up to him with a machine gun. Get on the plane, But it worked because it wasn't long after that we took off and come to Kathmandu.
Yeah, yeah. But also as well, like, that's another thing of putting you out of your comfort zone. We then went on a fucking 7-day motorbike ride through the mountains.
Yes.
And you'd only ever ridden a scooter before.
Well, I'd ridden motorbikes before, but I hadn't ridden a motorbike for 15 years.
Yeah, on those fucking crazy roads.
You got a license? Yeah. Straight out the driveway and straight into Nepalese traffic. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, it was wild, mate. It was wild.
Yeah, every day was death-defying.
Oh, totally. But yeah, you definitely, every day you were alive, mate. It was like living on the edge. It was
pretty much every day we got to where we were going, high-fiving each other, going, yes,
Did it die today?
We made it.
Oh, crazy. So you're a mad painter. When did all the painting kick in? Like, was that around that Storm the Gates period or afterwards?
No, I started painting when I actually gave up smoking.
Yeah.
And, I think, you were still here. And I painted a couple of, like, Hunya masks, and you were like...
That's right, yes. Yep.
Which I still have in the house.
Yeah.
And,
The big green one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I went from there, and I started with the acrylics. It took me a long time. It's been a massive progression, mate. I've gone through... And I've actually I just painted, like, this one here with acrylics, on a skateboard, nice. Just the last couple of days. It's the first time I've done acrylics, and Posca, and I just dick around with little things like these, like just straight up Posca thing. I'm not feeling real creative at the moment, but, it comes and goes as we... Yeah.
And that's okay, man. That's normal as well. You can't be constant pedal to the metal.
But, I've got a lot of paintings, mate. So,
Do you want to take us up to the cave and show us some of your paintings?
I can, yeah. Do that.
So where are you now? Is that like your work area?
Well, this is just home, mate. So this is just, I don't know whether you can see. That's just my little drawing desk there. I don't know how big. Yeah. I'll take you upstairs here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see.
Oh, mate, turn the light on. You can show us where the magic happens.
I just started going through all this shit here the last couple of days since we've been in lockdown. I won't sift through it, but I'll just show you that it's like... Yeah,
wow. Whoa. Go down a bit closer and just pan across slowly, please.
Can you see that?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, just slower, mate. Yeah, nice. Hey, is that wizard one? That's one of Brano's old ones, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Here's a pile. Don't know whether you can see that. It's a pile there.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so there's a few different ones, dragons,
Yep.
Don't judge me.
No, mate, no. So with all your stuff, have you got stuff that people can buy from you? Have you got prints? Because I know you've got your own printer.
Yeah, always got prints for sale.
Yep.
And the whole idea of me going through them the last couple of days was to, finally, which, you along with quite a few people have said, fucking sell them.
Yep.
I'm happy to sell originals and stuff like that as well. Look how many I've got.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in a cupboard, mate.
Yep.
So,
yep. Do you take commissions on?
I don't really like to.
Yeah.
I do. Like I've painted a lot of dogs for people.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I don't even.
And
really
for
like
us.
dogs.
Yep.
Yep. I'm a cat person, so
Yeah.
But I've painted a lot of dogs for people. I'll happily do commissions that I'm comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't see the point in it when I've got all that upstairs there that people can buy. If they
Yeah,
really want to buy it.
Yeah, mate. And you know what? Fair play. So talk us through the medium. Like, what paper you're using, what brushes, what inks.
Look, most of the time it's like I use quite a lot of Copic marker. I use FW, liquid acrylic. Mainly 300 GSM, Arches paper.
Yep.
I like painting big shit, obviously. So A1.
Yep.
But I've got every other size here and stuff like that as well. Like where I'm sitting now is I'm obviously single and a bachelor. So I've got everything at hand's reach. I could pull a calligraphy pen out, or I could pull some Copics out. Or I can pull watercolor, everyth's at arm's reach. So I can just sit here, watch TV or whatever I do.
Yep.
And just, most nights I'm doodling something,
Yeah, cool. Yeah, amazing.
But recently I bought an iPad, which has fucked my whole creativity.
Oh, in what way?
I am just really lazy now.
Why? Because of the iPad?
Yeah, I've gotten pretty lazy. I like that I'm, using it and, doing stuff with it. But like I found even yesterday when I was drawing on a piece of paper, I tried to move it with my fingers.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what I've found for me with an iPad, I think it's slower.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
I find it quicker. I find it just like, like, oh, I've got an instant something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like when I'm drawing something. Even the other night, I thought, fuck, I'm going to take advantage of this time off to put the iPad aside for a little bit.
Yep.
And I thought, I'll sit here and I'll draw. I can't remember what I drew, but I just pulled a pencil out and went boom, and I drew it in 10 minutes. And I thought, oh, good, I can still draw.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So you're not, with your iPad, mate, you're not about to become a black and grey realism artist, are you?
No, not at all.
So machines, you're still using coils?
Yeah. I just bought a Packer, a Bishop wand.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Which I'm still trying to figure out a cartridge that I
that's
like.
Right, yep.
I'm not going to there's no way that I'll outline with it. But I would like to use it, for colour and stuff like that. What I have done with it, it's slowing me down a little bit, but I do like it. I think that if I find the right cartridge, and right size, that it'll be great.
I think I was supposed to send you a bunch, but obviously lockdown. But any tattooers out there, let Benji know what a good cartridge is for him to use as well.
Yeah.
No, sorry, mate, go.
I still use basically the runners that I use on the daily. I've been using for 10 years plus. I got a Sunskin. That I bought. Well, actually, Raoul gave it to me years ago when I worked at Borderline. It had a fucked thread on it, and I went out the back and fixed it. When I said it's fixed, he goes, "Oh, you can have it." That thing would engrave concrete.
Beast.
And I use that basically for all my tradie sort of stuff. I've got a Hendrix that I got given to me as well by Adam up in the Sunshine Coast at Coolum. And I still use my sharps. My
that hybrid, the brass one.
Yeah. I think one of them still got springs on it that are probably 8 odd years old, you know.
Wow, amazing.
So, you know, it's just like, I can put any needle in them, anything, you know, and it just never lets me down until the spring breaks.
Like your tattooing, your tattooing style, like the way you tattoo, and anyone here that's worked with you will agree on this, is you're one of the most efficient tattooers I've ever come across. There is not one wasted movement. Like you were talking about.
You've always said that. Thanks.
You know where everything is. Same as when you tattoo. It's just effortless, and it's like poetry in motion. It's an amazing tattoo to go.
One of the things that I say now, even when I go to shops and there's apprentices and stuff like that, and they're just like, wow, you know, because I know that it probably does look easy.
Yeah.
You know, and I always say, you know, do as I say, not as I do. You know? Yes. Don't think you can do this because it fucking won't work.
No. It's just years and years of trial and error.
Yeah. Yep.
And finding your rhythm, and obviously, like knowing where everything is within arm's reach. Because you take your trolley with you everywhere you tattoo, don't you?
Well, I try to. When I drive, you know, places, my trolley, you know, it's so easy. I just pull it out, wheel it in, plug it in, and I'm tattooing. You know what I mean? When I've got to pack up the suitcase, you know, I can only take a certain amount of stuff, as you know, anybody that travels knows. Which, you know, it isn't easy, mate. You know, traveling, you know, isn't an easy gig. You know, it's expensive. It's hard. It's tiring. You know, but you know, I'm single. You know, and when I'm at home, I get a little bit lonely, and I feel that, you know, when I'm out and about, I'm in the world. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You know, I enjoy that. You know, so
So, where are you off to next? Once these, or what's I know it's hard to say.
Mate, I was planning to go to Coffs for a week soon. If things stay this way, I'll probably go up and hang out with Dave for a week up in Brisbane at Body Canvas. I haven't been up there for a while, so you know, I might go up there for a few days. I don't know. It's just so hard at the moment. You know, like I'm hanging to come and see the little Tokyo that you've you know, turned into a fucking, you know, empire. So
Well, Neil wants you to go to Tasmania.
Well, you know, there's so many places, like I said, that I'd love to go, mate. But you know, when you look at my calendar, it's sort of like, where do I fit a week of that in? You know
exactly.
I would love to.
You know, and having important to have time for yourself as well.
Well, you know, it's like too much time to myself isn't good for me. You know, there's like it's like a 10-day limit. Anything over that, I start fucking going, you know, what am I going to do?
Here we go. You can answer this one from MJ. Benji, if you were to travel to any country to tattoo for 12 months, what country and city would it be?
I don't know about city, but I never had any desire to travel. You know, when I was younger, you know, because I had a young daughter and stuff like that, I was rooted at home here, you know. But now that I'm older, I've always loved America, you know. Nice. So I would have went, you know, if I could still now, I'd go to America. I've got, you know, like Jojo is probably my only contact there who I would use, you know. And I would go to America, you know. And I know that, you know, it could go on from there, because I do, you know, talk to quite a few American dudes, you know. So
totally. Cool. Awesome. All right, mate. So where can people find you now? What's the best way for them to contact you?
Look, you know, I'm on my own, so it's the easiest way is just through Instagram. You know, I obviously have my 2 Facebooks. I don't have websites and stuff like that. My Instagram's, you know, like Benji T73. Just that's the best way to get a booking with me, to find out where I'm going, and when I'm going to be there. In my highlights reels is where all the tattoos I've got available, prints I've got available. So you know, everything is in that, you know. So cool. I'm really shit at social media. So
well, mate, maybe not as shit as you think. Like everything that you've just said and everything, the way I look at it, you run your Instagram really smartly. You've got all that stuff in it. Like you just did that merch release. You did 2 drops of it that sold out. Is there anything else on the horizon merch-wise?
Yeah, definitely. I'm still working on some more pieces now, and I think once things kick back off again, and the money's got to keep rolling in before the money goes out. You know how it goes. So once that cart starts coming back in again, there'll definitely be, a summer range. You know what I mean? So
awesome.
I'll be doing some of that. So yeah.
All right, awesome. So, mate, we're going to wrap it up. This hour's gone super fast.
Fucking over this.
It's been a lot of fun. So, I kind of got like a top 10. So, what's your favourite food?
Food. Anything.
All right. What's your favourite takeaway meal?
Look, I love a pizza from a little shop down the road here called Romana's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, wog pizza, mate.
Mate, the best. What's your favourite beer?
I don't have a favourite beer. I like drinking. I don't drink a lot of beer, but I really like drinking cold Great Northern on tap when I'm in Darwin.
Yep, nice. What are you drinking tonight?
Ouzo.
Nice. So your customers, when they want to show you some appreciation, apart from buying merch and originals and prints and stuff, is a nice bottle of Ouzo.
You got it.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
What are you? Are you a coffee or a tea man?
Both. Coffee, gives me anxiety, but I keep going back to it.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day. But yeah, coffee. Yeah.
All right. What's your favourite cafe?
Another place down in Nobbies as well, just down the road here, called For Real Kitchen. They do a really good corn fritters.
Yeah, nice. All right. This is the controversial one. What's your favourite vaccine?
I don't know. I didn't know how to answer this one. I still don't. I'd say AstraZeneca because it just sounds like a really cool metal band name.
Mate, A to Z, it's all there. Yeah. Mate. So, mate, it's been good. It's been good to see you got a lot of love come through. Sorry we couldn't answer everyone's questions and that sort of stuff. It's been a great honour to call you a friend and do so much cool stuff with you over the years.
Thank you.
And, mate, there's plenty more ahead to do.
Yeah, likewise, mate. I a lot of love for you, mate. Much respect.
It's good. It's good. All right, mate. On that note, we both love each other. Anything you want to say to anyone before we leave?
Look, I have seen a lot of comments and that come through there. It's kind of hard to keep track of them all and concentrate. I'm not real good at multitasking. So, thanks for everybody that, has commented and even watched tonight. It's great. Thanks for Rhys for doing it, mate. It's been great, Yeah,
it's fun.
Obviously connecting people, and I was keen to jump on it to try and tell a little bit of my story, mate. So
mate, and it's an interesting one, man, and I think a lot of people will have enjoyed tonight.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, buddy. Love you, mate.
All right,
See you
mate.
soon.
Good on you, mate. Thank you. See ya.